All right, guys, just trying to get a brief video out there for you to discuss what has happened in the last 3 days. So I posted a video yesterday talking about the AMA that happened on Friday, and there's already information in there that's out of date. And so instead of confusing people with a video and them not knowing what is the right answer or the wrong answer, I took the video down. I hate having misinformation on my channel. Things change, and so I just don't want to have that information out there. That's why the video went down. But we're going to provide an update as of August 18th as to what has changed. And so let's do a brief recap. Friday, AMA, Intrepid, Steven Sharif answers questions about Alpha 2. They provide a timeline for what Alpha 2 will be, and they go into detail about all of that. And it's honestly not, some things don't feel too great, of course, but for some people, but it's understandable, right? And so all that happens on Friday. People post videos, all that happens. And then we get to yesterday, and there's some clarifications. For those of you guys that don't know, the Alpha 2, we're just going to go over to the display capture here. The Alpha 2 keys were, in my opinion, they were too expensive. I thought that the price for Alpha 2 only was going to be around $60 because that's around the price for the $250 Alphas. The Alpha bundle that I purchased, and when they announced $120, I was going to do another video talking about it, but I just wanted to do a video with information. And honestly, we're all our own people. We can spend the money we want to spend and however we want. I don't want to convince you either way, but personally for me, I would not have bought a $120 key. So this was posted 11 hours ago. It says, clarifying Alpha 2 keys announcement. Good afternoon, friends. There's been a lot of questions and commentary regarding how the Alpha 2 keys work since our AMA yesterday. We are preparing an article to release on the website tomorrow or Monday regarding how the keys and phases work in broader detail. I will take a moment in this thread to clarify in detail how the Alpha 2 keys work and answer some questions in this thread. If you own an Alpha 2 key from the previous pre-order packages or Kickstarter, you have access to all phases of Alpha 2. Alpha 2 begins for you on the weekend of October 25th. New Phase 1 keys will consist of weekend testing, starting with weekend testing beginning for November 8th. New Phase 2 keys will consist of week-long testing, 5 days at a time, beginning December 20th. New Phase 3 keys will consist of 24/7 testing and is intended to run until the game launches. Purchasing into a phase grants access to subsequent phases. When beta starts, the Alpha 2 servers will live concurrently alongside the beta servers. And this is the difference. This has always been true, but this is the new part. Players who own Alpha 2 keys, including the new phase keys, will also have access to the beta servers. This was not what was given on Friday, and this is what has changed. And so in the video that I did, I said that, this is only Alpha 2 access, which is what is wrong. And so that's why I took it down. I don't want to confuse people thinking they're only getting Alpha 2. Steven's now saying, or is saying that with clarification, that if you buy these keys, it's Alpha 2, Beta 1, and Beta 2 access. So it may change that for you guys. It may change your opinion on things. I don't know. It's up to you. We can talk more in detail about the price of that later. I'm just trying to get a video out with the information as quickly as possible. Alpha 2 and Phase 3 is expected to last at least 1 year. So what they're saying is May 2025 is the start of Phase 3. And so the start of Phase 3, it's supposed to last at least until May of 2026. Now, the reason this is an interesting thing posted is how long is Alpha 2 going to last is essentially the same as when is the game going live, because this game is going to live concurrently as a PTS server alongside the game when it goes live. This is of course subject to change due to active development. Alpha 2 does not have a subscription cost. When the game launches, Ashes will not have a box price. So yes, you're paying for access. When the game goes live, you will pay a subscription fee. It will not. You're not paying $120 plus $60 for the game. If you want to pay for Alpha 2 and Beta access, you pay for that, according to Steven. And then when the game goes live, you pay for the subscription fee, which will be a monthly thing. And so the cost behind Alpha Access accounts for server and CDN costs associated with a live service product. And while this is not a finished game, it will be a live service alpha that we will be updating on a 6-week basis as we build out the rest of the game's content and features. This addresses most of the commentary I've read that required clarification. I want to reiterate, you should not consider purchasing testing access to Ashes if your intent is to play a completed game. This is not the typical approach of development and marketing. It will be rough, buggy, and require dedicated players who are willing to be testers. We have our internal QA teams along with externally contracted QA testers that are testing Ashes right now, every day. And I understand that this approach is not everyone's cup of tea, but this is the path we are taking because I believe it will yield a better finished product. Happy to answer questions in the comments below. So that's the clarification. It doesn't matter how many times people talk about how this is not an early access game. It doesn't matter monthly, yearly, that Steven, I hear it every other month from Intrepid's games or Intrepid Studios live streams that this is not an early access game. We're testing to work out the bugs and kinks. If you're paying to, number one, support the game, number two, to test, to have the ability to test. Now, some people are going to get mad about this because other games, they don't make you pay exorbitant fees in order to test things. This is the long story cut really short for those of you guys that don't understand where this is coming from. A long time ago, way back in 2016, 2017, when they first started their Kickstarter, they released bundles saying, hey, we want to release this game where we have an idea for how we want to go about doing it. This is what our core pillars are. Is there any interest? And so they had people buy in with bundles. And so you could pay in with Kickstarter with multiple different bundles. And what they've done is they've tried to keep purchasing prices since then around the same, because they don't want to... if you think about it this way, you don't want to have people paying $250 for Alpha 2 back in 2016, and now all of a sudden, 8 years later, people are paying $30, $40, $50, $100, something like that. You want to make sure that the people that invested in your vision early are still, they don't feel like they got screwed over. You're staying loyal to your initial fan base. And so that's why they've kept the prices the way that they've kept them. And for some people, they look at it and they're like, you're 8 years in development and you're charging this much money for this. This is ridiculous, right? And I get where that's coming from. I totally understand. In this situation, I would, as if I was a developer, which I'm not, I would want to stand by my initial investors as well and try to keep things around whatever that price was. So that's why I thought Alpha 2 was going to be around $60, because when you break down the bundle I have, that's what Alpha 2 only is basically consisting of. And so if it is the Alpha and Beta, I think it's closer in line. In both betas, I think it's closer in line with those things. But then even more changed as of this morning when I woke up. So I'm honestly, guys, I'm more confused now than I was on Friday. And so I'm going into things, and let me go back and get it here. So we had that post. And so for those of you guys that don't know, Asmongold did a video as well, and he discussed how it was a shit show and everything. And so Steven responded on that. I went to go find the official post, and I think it's since been deleted, but here's what it says. Hey brother, we definitely fucked up the communication here. After watching your thoughts, I went to our official Reddit and clarified some of the comments regarding Alpha 2. To update here, Alpha 2 is expected to last around 12 months for testers and will have a 6-week update cadence. So this has already changed. Alpha 2 is expected to last around 12 months for testers. They said, if you guys go back and we look at this, Alpha 2 Phase 3 is expected to last at least 1 year. So here's the thing. We'll pull this over real quick. Alpha 2 Phase 3 is expected to last at least 1 year. And so the difference here is Phase 3 is May of 2025, and it is supposed to last at least 1 year, according to this, from 2026. And then the same source, Steven Sharif here, is saying that Alpha 2 is expected to last around 12 months for testers. Well, testing starts in October. Alpha 2 officially starts in October. And so are they saying that it is now October of 2025 is how long Alpha 2 is going to last? Or is it May of 2026? So there is confusion here. I don't know if he was just trying, like, guys, we've all written things. Was he just supposed to say Alpha 2 Phase 3 is supposed to last around 12 months for testers? I don't know. Obviously, this is all subject to change, but there is confusion here, is what I'm trying to say. And although we will not be a completed game, we will still be up and running servers for that time. We have our internal QA teams, along with externally contacted QA testers that are up every day, and we will continue to do so until we launch thereafter. These keys are intended to provide players in our community that want to help test Ashes a way to do so that continues to support our development. We do not want to market these keys. We don't spend money on advertising or marketing alpha testing to people. We ask those people to wait until launch, where we will have no box price to play. I hope this helps give some clarity. So yeah, I think there is some faux outrage here, if I'm being perfectly blatantly honest with you guys. Some people want to get in for free, and some people want to get in for, there is a subsect of people that do not want to pay. They just want to have a good experience regardless of whatever game is, and whatever price, whatever they do, you won't make those people happy. There's also the people in the middle ground, more like me, that are saying, hey, We should have Alpha 2 keys around the same price of what the bundles were, which to me was around $60. I was going to do a video on like clarifying afterwards my thoughts, but we're just going to do it in this video that's not right now. I thought $120 was too much for just Alpha 2. I thought it was going to be around $60 to keep in mind the original legacy investors, what I just talked about. And so $60 in that range made sense to me. If you wanted to say it was like $80, that makes sense. I always thought 120 to 110 and 100 was a little too high. It's not something I would personally purchase with that in mind. But with the alphas and betas, I'll have to go back and look. But regardless, this to me doesn't look good. I have never had to clarify a video in the 2 years of covering this game. Clearly, they are crunched for time. They admitted so in the live stream. Clearly, they're stressed and they're working on things. And so that makes sense. But now we have 3 different forms of information in 48 hours. And so that's where it is. I haven't seen this for them. This is disappointing to me, and we'll just leave it at that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I will end this video here. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.